Hey y'all, how is it going? It is Tuesday, which is an unusual day for a stream typically, but not, I've done this sort of stream on a Tuesday before, so it's not, you know, all that unprecedented, I guess. How is everyone doing? I see Lord Bowser. I saw right before I went live, Lord Bowser, you just finished a level. That's nice. I guess it's on time for Thursday then. Let me I'll first tell you how my day went. Like, just up front, let me say I had a hell of a day. The stream is a little later than I said it would be yesterday, but it was the same time as I said it would be on Discord and on, like, the Twitch schedule, so, I think it's fine, it's good. I had basically a big all-day interview for, like, from, like, 10 o'clock to, like, 2:30, and then I took an 8-mile walk, until, like, the afternoon, until, like, the evening, and then I had some dinner. I, soaked in the bath for a bit, because my feet were goddamn killing me after all that. All that walking. I think I'm ready for my Universal Orlando, I think I'm ready to walk around 7 odd amusement parks over the weekend. I think I am, prepped. I feel like no more walking. That 8 miles is enough. Now it's time to preserve my feet and make sure that I'm not sunburned over the weekend, I guess. Maybe. Is that a cop-out? Maybe I should walk more. Just, it's good practice, and, I'm gonna walk a lot over the weekend. Anyway, let me tell you what is happening tonight, what this is. Basically, I've been making my super world, and I'm on the last world. Let me pull up the card for the super world, why not? And I'll also make it so that my maker code is on the screen, as it usually is during any Mario Maker adjacent show. Stream. Yes. You stream twice without AC in the Florida heat. That's terrible. It's hot, and this time of year. Let me pull up the thing that shows, like, what is the deal with my super world. So my super world, sort of DKC inspired. That's sort of one of always my touchstone. And when I was making it, I decided to make the last world a particularly bonus type world, a lost world. No problem, Lord Bowser. With whenever you stay cool and whenever you stream, that's fine. So, the last world of the super world, I decided to make the penultimate world more of the, like, finale world. So, like, Koopaverse has a big boss fight with Bowser, similar to, like, how in DKC2 and DKC3 there is a boss fight with Bowser at the end of the last world. But there's also a final fight thing with Bowser in the Lost World, and that is this world here, Bonus Biome. Isn't that a good name for a Lost World? I think it's funny too. I hope you think it's funny. I'll just tell you what the 2 levels that exist in there are. Those are Sunburned Sanctuary and Ripsaw Rainbow. Sunburned Sanctuary is a castle level in the clouds where you play as Link and you dodge the sun. And it becomes a platform level in the second half. Pretty like, Lost World-y. One of the inspirations, especially for, like, the second half, was Clobber Carnage, which becomes a platform level, kinda, in the second half. So, too, does this one become a platform level in that second half. I think it's really nice. Ripsaw Rainbow, not so much inspired by a specific Lost World level in an existing game. More that I realized that I had not had a flying level where the flying was only in the first half, which is a thing that DKC3 does a couple of times. maybe like twice actually. And one of those is Swoopy Salvo in DKC3, so it kind of also does reference a Lost World level now that I look at it a little more. But, you know, definitely I feel like it was a fitting thing, and also it's got these big rainbows for theming. I'll say, I think both of these levels are very cool and have some really nice theming that is like, you know, measure up to the status of a Lost World, the cool factor that a Lost World level should have. Let me show you what they look like in the like, red X's view. Bowser knows. Bowser's seen it before. But you can see there's clouds, there's castle, nice little combination of them. You go down into the subworld, and it's, you know, you're in a castle, and you're now going on, like, a bouncy thing and having to stab bullet bills and jump over the sun. I think it's pretty cool. Definitely in that ballpark. Same with this level here, the most recent one, which, by the way, love if y'all checked out. This one's basically got a bunch of rainbows that are being torn apart, and as such, you know, you have to dodge, like, these guys who are, like, you know, guys in Koopa cars just, like, coming at you. The first half is sort of a flying thing. The second half has more, like, blue raft stuff instead, which is a fun change of pace, I think. And I hope that it measures up to, like, what a Lost World level should be. By the way, little trick here, if you're wondering why these guys aren't in their clown cars, that's because they can fall in, and as a result be, like, placed here and here, sort of behind the pipe, such that they're not, like, over the pipe and starting to go over as you're going up. Instead, they'll be, like, a little bit behind you as you're rising up this way. So that makes it so that they can be a little bit farther to the left than they otherwise would be if they were placed, like, here or, you know. Because basically these guys, when they're in their clown cars, they take up a 3x3 grid. So there's, you see there's 5 squares here. There wouldn't be room enough for these guys. Little trick that I figured out for one of the revisions that I did of that level. Anyway, the third, I'll say, I have some ideas for the 4th and 5th level. In specific, the 4th one is going to be like a dark level. I want to make a dark level. I haven't made a dark level in the Super World yet, so that's what the 4th one is going to be. And the 5th one is going to be the final world, and it's going to be called Playtime Palace. My idea is that it's going to have an option of, like, every power-up that you could get in 3D world. I think that's going to be pretty neat, and I'll, you know, also figure out ways to use the enemies that I haven't had the opportunity to use, I guess, and it'll end with some sort of, like, you know, jumping over Bowser type boss fight. Not a hard one, like an easy one. It'll be more of the classic style of the, like, yeah, just get by him, the flagpole's right there, go wild, you know. But for this one, I have no ideas yet, so let's pull it up and have a look what I got so far. Right now, I know that because all the other levels are more untraditional skyscapes, you know, untraditional sky levels, ships, rainbows, castles in the sky, I want this one to just be clouds. And also, I've not used the cloud theme in 3 ever, so I think that would be cool. To have some big clouds, and I don't know what else. I've messed around with a bit, but I don't think any of that is going to stick. One thing here is, originally my idea for this was called Pokey Pressure, and it was going to be based around this thing here where the Pokies can just, like, rain Goombas on you, but I'm pretty damn sure that's not going to work. I'm pretty damn sure that's going to be a hell on, like, resource limits. I'm pretty sure it's pretty damn slow. So, like, say, you know, you just do this. I've just spent, you know, if you just like run and jump past it or something, let's say, I have spent like 7, 8 enemies on something that you're not even gonna notice, and that is not, I don't think that's smart. I don't think that's good. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to scrap this, as cool as it looks at first glance, and come up with something else. I don't know what else yet. My one idea is that I haven't used chain chomps that are on their pegs at any point in the super world, not properly. So maybe chain chomps that are on their pegs. Anything else I haven't used in the super world? I've used Rocky Wrenches, I've used Hammer Brothers, I've used Cheap Cheeps, I've used Bloopers, I've used these guys. I could see Spike Tops being a thing. I think I've used them like once. I think I've used them like once and not in a way that they were like actually on platforms moving back and forth, but they were on rails, so it was more of a flavor thing more than anything else. Other than that, Wigglers haven't really played much of a role in the super world. I think there's been like one level that's had Wigglers in it, so I could see Wigglers getting some airtime here. Airtime's not the way to put it, I guess. Other than that, you know what? This super world could use more Mecha Koopas. I feel like Mecha Koopas would be fun. Now, those, just off the top of my head, those are the things that I would like to have this level to have. I think I've used icicles like once. Would icicles make sense in a cloud stage? I could see it, sort of like hail. Maybe some sort of icicle thing would be fun. You know, maybe it'll be sort of an icy cloud situation. Well, that's kind of fun, if so. Twisters have only been used in one level, but I used them really well, so it's gonna be a hard act to top, you know. I think just once, so maybe Twisters as well? Question mark? I'm just gonna put all this shit down, and we'll think about if there's anything that comes to mind, in a bit. Those are the things that I have not really used that much of in the super world. Well, I've used Mecha Koopas a fair deal, but Mecha Koopas are really good, and I can always use another level with them. I think it's been a time since the last time they appeared, you know. Especially if you're talking the rocket variation or something. I don't remember the last time. The last time specifically the rocket variation appeared might have been in 2-4, all the way back. So like a tower of them would be pretty cool, maybe. I'm gonna hit save, and here's what I was thinking. Let me say what I was thinking. I was thinking that we would play some of the classics, the original video games that, like, I draw inspiration from. More specifically, I was thinking I'd play some DKC2, go through its Lost World, and think about it as we go through each level. Also, maybe some DKC3, and Super Mario World kind of has a Lost World, and it's like special area. Is it just called special? I know the levels are like tubular. It says like special in the middle, doesn't it? The special, we could also have a look at that, and if we could think of any other games with Lost Worlds, that would be cool. I guess we could look at Returns, and well, Returns would be a harder thing to just... I would have to turn on my Wii U and switch discs. That could be arranged, that's fine. Maybe we'll just focus on Tropical Freeze. It's sort of the better of the two, anyhow, of the retro games. Also, by the way, I was trying to remember the name of a game. It was Chants of Sonar. Thinking about playing that on the plane. But I'm gonna try the demo in the next few days and maybe buy it if turns out I like it. Anyway, I'll tell you if I ended up doing that on Thursday, I guess. By the way, I'll say Thursday is going to be the viewer level stream. So look forward to that, and you know, you have levels. That would be the day to do it. Thursday. Anyway, I'm going to switch games to DKC2. What we're going to do here is we're going to play through the Lost World and think about it. And then after, maybe we'll do DKC3, other such Donkey Kong games, and maybe Super Mario World as well. That's my plan. That's my idea. I'm just going to use one of my files that I have at 100%. Quite unusual for a making stream, I'll say. Usually we start with just me brainstorming for a while, but right now I feel like going to the classics, just looking to them for like ideas, things to consider, etc. This, to me, DKC2, The Lost World, is the classic ideal of a Lost World, It's just, a big forest, mountain, range, underground. It's weird and mysterious and jungle, but also dark and, yeah, again, entirely underground. Hello, Paul. Damn it, I looked away for a second. This level, you bounce around a bunch and, go up a good deal on these fun bouncy tires, which are great. Like I said, we're going to play these levels and we're going to think about what constitutes a Lost World level, what makes it different, what's cool about it. I guess in a traditional sense, if you're just talking DKC2, the cool thing is that you can play it at any time, You don't have to get to the last world to play this level. As soon as you have the tokens, you can do it, which obviously is not going to be the case in my Super World. Mario Maker 2 does not work that way, but it'd be cool if it did. Right? Anyway. So let's not focus on that part necessarily, and more just like, these levels are challenging. These levels are like fast-paced. These levels are a little bit demanding in a fun way. Above it should be probably, I think, a little hard, but also like natural enough where, at least I feel DKC2 is natural enough where you can do things. You can do things without trying if you just, like, in some cases with correct timing, land on a tire and hold right. You'll land on the next one pretty assuredly, sometimes. Not always. It's not that easy, I guess. Just because this is late in the game doesn't mean that things can't just flow. In fact, they probably should flow. Like here, you just hold right and it just flows. Something just coming naturally, intuitively, just feels good, I think, for players, Trick is, that's hard, honestly, that's hard to do, right? And I think it's hard to do as far as, like, without playtesting substantially. There is something here I will draw y'all's attention to. What the? Whoa? Oh, shit. There is something here I will draw your attention to. A little bit. This level in particular doesn't really pivot that much, but I always think in any level, in a lot of DKC levels, after the midway point, something about them changes a little bit. In this case, I guess the only thing I can point to is that barrel cannons are introduced, and, you know, they're not in the first half, but they're not really the focus, you know? They're just like, there's just like one little part that does that, and it's just a little bit of an escalation. Not even that much of one, you know, just, hey, you know, you've been bouncing off these towers, now avoid them instead. Or just do that. That works. Just Dixie Kong hover. Fuck. Should we just rewind? Maybe we should just rewind at a certain point, like... And, you know, just to... We're just playing these for inspiration, for, like... an idea of what... It gets that lightning, that Lost World feel. I mean, again, difficulty is part of it. The like, you know, this level design, it's intuitive. It's obvious. Bounce on the things. You bounce on the things, you probably can figure out that you have to bounce on the next one, and goes from there. Okay, good, that's one. Let's go to the next real fast. The next one is Black Ice Battle. Black Ice Battle is a vertical, downhill stage. I love downhill as a concept. I will say I've already done a downhill stage relatively recent. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's down here. Yeah, there we go. I already did a downhill level recently, though it was like more of a half downhill level than an entirely downhill level. That said, it's never a bad time for a downhill level. And then again, like, is a cloud... Does it make sense to go downhill into a cloud? Does it make sense to go downhill into an iceberg, ice sheet? Yes, I would say so. It's all slidey, you know. It's all slidey. There's a lot of, like, slippery slopes, and that makes, like, going down a little more perilous than it would be otherwise. It's a smart choice for one of these levels, you know. Oops, I didn't get my Diddy Kong. You can have some fucked up shit like, I love this bit, you know, this is a great way. Let me show you that part again. This time, not die. I think this part down here is really clever, where there's just like a bunch of platforms and like you don't have to engage with every enemy you see. You can just like just kill enough as you need to get by. Putting zingers in the holes makes for a dangerous downhill stage, as are these guys you cannot jump on, which again, because you can't jump on them, they're more dangerous than they would be otherwise from above, you know? You can't land on them. Smart. Good ass design. I guess the thing I would take away from this stage is that it's very unique, you know? Other than this, I don't think that DKCTF has any other downhill levels, other than maybe like a water level that sort of like more winds around more broadly. There's Ramby Rumble, which is a half downhill level, but there's no full entirely downhill levels. I'll say that for sure, and because it's true. So something that's unique in the Lost World, I think, is you know, a damn good idea. So again, cover your bases and make something that is different from anything else. Here is a level wherein there's just a bunch of one enemy. Just like a whole fucking mess of clobbers. And it's called Clobber Carnage. Now, if I still wanted to call it like Pokey Pressure or something, looking at this stage and just being like, okay, instead of that bespoke mechanic with the Pokies, it could just be, you know, a level that uses Pokies extensively, like ridiculously, like Pokies here, Pokies there, Pokies in combinations with chain chomps, Pokies being lifted up by like winds. I don't mind that. That actually sounds cool. And, you know, the genericness of the theming then wouldn't necessarily hurt. You know, it was just like generic cloud level. It doesn't have to be called like Cloud Top Caper or something like that, which might be the name of a DKC land level as far as I know. Not sure about that. I actually kind of like the idea of going really heavy on Pokies and sticking with Pokey Pressure as the name. Even without that bespoke mechanic. That bespoke, thing that I'm pretty sure it's not gonna work, right? Like, one thing about Pokey Pressure I like is it could sort of be like bent in a direction of like, oh, it's, you know, it means two things, right? Like, it means that you are being pressured by Pokies, but also it means that there's like a pressure front, you know, in like the weather sense, and that sort of connects to clouds, doesn't it? I guess that's up to interpretation, but I kind of like it. And this is the thing that sort of inspired the last level. No, not the last level, the first level of the Super World. This level, from the first part of the game, is more about dodging a bunch of clobbers on platforms. Then in the second half, it becomes a completely different level that's more of a platform level, before, like, returning a little bit to the clobbers in the last sprint here, which is, you know, more difficult, I guess, because there's those spikes, and, you know, those black clobbers, I don't know if you know, but they take lives. Every one of them they hit, a life pops out of you and you have to recollect it, which is a thing that I don't think I've seen a single other game ever do, and it's kind of cool. Very good. A. On to the next. Of the Lost World levels of DKC2, I feel like this one here in Gloomy Gulch, which is called, what's it called? It's called Fiery Furnace. There we go. I feel like this one to me is the least remarkable of the levels. You know, I guess you could say that maybe 1-1, or sorry, Lost World, the first one, using the Mario notation. I guess you could say that, like, what's it called? Jeez, Jungle Hijinks? Jungle Jinx? Is the most, I guess you could say Jungle Jinx is the most generic of the levels, but I always felt not so strongly about this one. I guess because you are, like, getting into a thing and, like, flying across a landscape, and it's, you know, not exactly the fastest vehicle. It moves a little slower than, like, run speed. But it is cool, and it is unique, and bespoke. And it sort of comes with all these, like, large stretches of bottomless pits that you have to navigate. Bottomless pits, those, even if they're not hard, even if a bottomless pit isn't, like, challenging to get over or get across, like, you know, look, I'm not gonna die in this one. It's a big fucking giant bottomless pit, but we're gonna get through, like, 1000% clean. Even if it's not, like, deadly, it's intimidating in a way that, like, a platform is not, because you can just land on a platform and, like, leave in the middle of it and not die, you know? I'm on a platform now, I could put the controller down and walk away and be fine. Whereas you do that when you're in the cannon, and you will die. You know? So I guess what I'm saying is danger, a way to jack up the danger a little bit, at least the feeling of danger, would be more bottomless pits or something of the sort. Also bespoke mechanics, and also don't be afraid to just slip in like an enemy that isn't in any of the rest of the level. Like right there was a cat of nine tails. I'm pretty sure like, no, I'm not sure like, fuck! I'm not sure how many cat of nine tails are in the level. There's probably like not that many. Ah. Ooh. I'll say again, I was up pretty, not pretty early, you know, relative to like a normal schedule, but I was up, you know, and doing stuff from like 9 o'clock on, which, you know, again, not that unusual, accepting that I'm like between things, and you know, my sleep schedule has been a little pokey as of late. That's the way to do that. Okay, so there's more cat of nine tails than this, the first one. Don't be afraid to pepper like 3 of an enemy, is what I'll say. You know, you don't have to put 100 of an enemy in, or 0. You can put like 1 or 2 on occasion, and it's like fine. Or in this case, 4, 5. And they can even be the final levels, the final enemies in the level, even if they're not like the most prevalent enemy elsewhere, you know? The last level of the Lost World in DKC2 is perhaps the most iconic, the most famous. I always hesitate to say famous when I'm talking about a movie or a game. My dad sometimes, when we're watching a movie, says like, oh, this is a famous scene. And I gotta think like, well, they're probably all famous scenes. It's a famous movie, you know? Like, what makes one scene a lot more famous than any other scene? I would use the word memorable, I guess, or like iconic, rather than famous. Sorry to just have a random dunk on my dad there, but you know, that's how I see it. This is one of the more iconic stages of the Super World. You know, animal antics, where you go through and you play as each of the 5 animal buddies in turn, from Rambi to Ungard, to Ungard to Squitter to Squawks to Rattly. And it's a very hard level, as you may know. Parts of it are easy though, you know, and maybe that should be the thing we take away from this. Parts are easy, you know. Not everything needs to be the hardest thing in the world, right? Like, in some cases, all you need to do is jump off a bee. And it looks kind of deadly, but because you're a rhino, or you have some other sort of advantage, it's actually quite easy. You know, dealing with the guy above the water, that's the hardest part of that section. And it's not that hard. Dealing with, these below explosion guys is the hardest part here. Maybe there's some lockjaws later on or something. Speak of the devil. They're not that bad either. There we go, we're home free. I will say specifically, I've already made my send up to Animal Antics in my Super World in Arsenal Antics, which was the first level of World 7. Which, you know, involved all 5 of the power-ups of 3D World, which, you know, is about as close as you can get to what this game does with its animal buddies, you know? Though, of course, it was done in a more Mario Maker style, basically, with repeating checkpoints and red coins. And then, something that's you know, follows that. Something that follows that and is a little more wacky. Each of these individual, like, sequences, I guess you could see as, like, a level in microcosm. You know, with the length that they have, which is like a fifth of the level, they try to get in, like, the iconic challenges for each of the animal buddies. Like, okay, can you make webs over a big pit? Can you make webs over, while there's zingers coming at you? Can you make webs and deal with, Necky Juniors who are gonna swoop if you don't kill them, like, pronto? And then, you get to Squawks, which isn't so much an iconic test of like, squawksing, but more just, hey, the wind is back, and dear God, it had to happen while you were flying, huh? In the GBA version, they moved the checkpoint so that it's after the Squitter bit. So it's more like towards the end. Because, you know, they knew, well, I don't know, they probably knew at this point as well that, yeah, the Squawks bit is the one you need the most help for, and also, you know, Squitter is great, but the problem with Squitter is that Squitter is slow. You know, Squitter, to squit and to make platforms repeatedly to jump across, it takes time, you know, and you have to constantly, you know, measure your things and land before you send out another thing. If you don't, you're gonna take a hit because your platform's gonna, like, start to disappear below you. Which I'll say, you know, you should probably be able to have 3 webs, I'll say. That would fix that entirely and make it so that you could just, like, web jump, you know? If like, the one that was maintained was the one you just shot, and also the one you just landed on. You know, the one that you last landed on. But instead, it's only the one you just landed on, so if you shoot one before you land on your next platform, it's gonna start disappearing on you, which, you know, not entirely ideal. I guess from that, you could consider, like, well, quite simply, put your checkpoint after the hardest thing. Or not the hardest thing, like, before the hardest thing. You're gonna go to sleep, Lord Bowser, you have a good one. You put it before the hardest thing, so that, well, actually, you know what? Let me change the framing. Not the hardest thing. Has nothing to do with the hardest thing. You put it after the slowest thing. And if you need, like, 2 checkpoints, you know, to do that, I would say don't be afraid to, make that happen, I guess. See, like, we had to do some fancy jumping to make that work. But we didn't, also. We also didn't make it work, so... Shit! Okay. Let's play this right, but, I'm just gonna continue from here. Okay, you know what? I gotta take that. I gotta take it. I was playing too loose. I guess, you know, this being the Lost World and all, you should punish players for playing loosely, you know. Risky jump there. Also, I guess you can incentivize, like, the coin power-ups or whatever, you know, collecting coins and getting lives. I put so many collectibles in my levels, I bet people don't have any particular need of, like, 1-ups, probably. realistically, I would have to imagine that you get to 99 and you stay there in my super world. And I think that's fine, you know. That's the case with like Tropical Freeze for me, or like you know, any of the games where when you load up your save, the lives is preserved. You know, which isn't the case with these games. It resets when you reset the game, which, I mean, I'll say, like, that design has its appeal and its value. You know, I think it definitely keeps you from, like, getting up to 99 lives and never having to think about that again. But also, it can be harder for players that aren't as good, I guess. You know, they will never, you know, some players will never be able to get up a stock of any lives because of that design decision. Shit. Fuck! I think I was Okay, let's go back to here. Okay, we got places to be tonight. I can't be replaying the first half of Animal Antics forever, or, you know, even for that long, I reckon. Okay. At the very least, I will prevent a game over by rewinding a bit. I'll say that. There's not much to say about the Rattly section. It's alright, and I with the Rattly section, I do get the feeling of, like, yeah, they wanted something that was scary and challenging, but, you know, you've just been through, like, a whole gauntlet. It's not that scary relative to Squawks. The only real danger I would say is, like, yeah, there's no fucking Kong barrel, like, in this section, so if you weren't careful through Squawks, you might have one hit for that whole section, and, you know, that's just how it works. Alright, let's go over to DKC3. Want to play through its Lost World as well. You're gonna hit the button that changes the game to DKC3. And, you know what? Let me check to make sure that went through. Did it not go through? Let me check that again. Hit the button. I have on my stream deck a thing that's supposed to change it automatically, but let me see. Maybe I misspelled it. Donkey Kong Country 3. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. Oh, did I say Dixie's Double Trouble? I might have put in Dixie's Double Trouble. That's probably the mistake. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. Krematoa is the Lost World in this. Let's play through that right fast, and we'll think about what lessons its levels have for us. I'll say that some of the Krematoa levels are a little more like starkly different, I guess, than like their equivalents in what the hell? I can't. There we go. Okay, that was weird. I was trying to hit right. It wouldn't go for a second there. Who knows? I hope it's not Joy-Con drift. Well, it's a Pro Controller, but I hope it's not Pro Controller drift. No, I'm using it right now. It's normal. I think it's normal. I should probably test it in a game where it has analog control and see if it's looking weird. Krematoa, the Lost World of DKC3. A plenty good Lost World, but also, you know, To me, it's not like the best Lost World, but it is cool. Big volcano, has like jungles and forests inside of it, and also things that you would expect in a big volcano, like caves and cliffs. It's cool. This one is basically an auto-scroller. There's not that much to say about it. I have already done an auto-scroller in my Super World, and I'll say I have no expectation of doing a second one. The Super World so far has already had a platform level and a flying level, which I guess the platform level involves riding on a thing at a set rate in an auto-scrollery fashion, you know, sort of adjacent to the platform level. Jesus. They put a checkpoint in... Jesus. They put a checkpoint in this in the, I think they put a checkpoint in this in the GBA version. Maybe that's the lesson here, like, don't get fancy with it. Just put a fucking checkpoint in. Be normal. Anyway, I don't anticipate a level like this making sense in my Super World. In my last world in Bonus Biome, as I call it. But it is something original, you know, that sort of takes something you know and turns it on its head a little bit. You know, up to this point... By the way, you can all hear me, right? Okay, I see on the mixer that my microphone thing is moving. Imagine if 2 hours in, no one had mentioned, if Lord Bowser and Paul had not mentioned that I was inaudible or something. That would be nightmare upon nightmares, I guess. Someone would have said. Someone would have said. Because, you know, Bowser was here earlier. Paul as well. Okay, cool. That's good enough. There's also some bonus games that are based on the other animal buddies. It's not really relevant to our case, to our Super World. The one thing you can point out is like, okay, it's fun to do different kinds of levels and to do like sort of a best of. They need to be distinct and, you know, pull from a variety of different niches that a level could have. Like, yeah, put in a auto-scroll, like, minecart type level. You can do that. Another one of them is a vertical level, which we've already done, but this one is cool. I will say, I did consider a level that was one of my early ideas for the Super World was a level that was kind of like this, where like a pipe was basically blowing out guys, producing guys who moved upwards at a set rate, and maybe you could like jump off them repeatedly. Basically, in the night theme of certain night themes, anyway. Cheeps will fly up out of the pipe until they line up level with you, and I figured like you could do something with like bouncing off a stack of them to get to a high place. That ended up being rejected though, you know, and that level ended up becoming Red Girder Gala. That was 3-4. You know, it had nothing to do with that original idea in the end. And I think it's better for it. I think that mechanic would have been tricky to get to doing. An interesting thing that this level does do is you have some like some forks in the road. Like here, you can either go left or right. Here, you can either deal with the Clouts or the KONG. And Clouts, you know, they're sort of a tough enemy that's only seen in this level and the next level, which, you know, that's another thing you can always do in a world. You know, tie them together a little bit, use the same enemies in places. That's something I've done before in my Super World. Something that I could do again, I don't know. I feel like just use what makes sense for the level right now is my focus. and that makes each one of them feel more unique, the better. I will say a weird thing about this level is that there are places where it seems to think that you'll need to hit a switch to go forward, whereas the barrels are already flowing, you know? Maybe in some early phase of design, they assume they could make it so that, like, okay, you haven't killed this zinger, you haven't killed this buzz, so the barrels are gonna keep on moving, right? They're gonna keep on coming. But it turns out that that buzz gets despawned when you move far enough away, and as such, the barrels start going through it. So, you know, it doesn't exactly stop the flow of barrels. And you can just, like, move on without, like, dealing with clouts and, Cluff and Clout. These guys are called Cluff and Clout, I think. Cluff and Clout? Clout and Cluff? It's something like that. Anyway, hey, this is a level where guys move in predictable patterns and you have to dodge them. It's cool. And sometimes they run, which is another cool little thing. This one, you get a power-up in the first half, and you have to give it up in the second half, but, you know, that's not so unusual for this game in particular. And you could go and up here and do a secret if you so pleased. Well, I guess it's maybe not a secret, but a optional path. Optional paths are things I don't do that often, but maybe they'd be cool. I don't know. This game does optional paths in other places as well, I'll say. For instance, when the first Beehive level has like plenty of optional paths. I'm gonna turn around and get this thing. Where like you can, you know, go multiple ways through a space. You can go high or you can go low. And sometimes the high path will have, you know, more bananas or something. You know, not really super relevant. It's cool how you can, like, dodge their patterns if you just play it slow, and their patterns are quite predictable, so that's easy. Or you can, like, just try to weave through them. That is a question for us. Can we do something where the players feel, like, inclined to take their chances, you know? And maybe, eventually, just required to take their chances. That's, you know, in some of those cases, you had to do a fancy jump over the guys. There was no safe place. You had to do it. Swoopy Salvo, the next level of this here world, Krematoa. This one sort of inspired, was one of the main inspirations behind the last level, which was Ripsaw Rainbow, you know, insofar as it was a level that is a vertical level where you fly in the first half and you do something else in the second half. The thing you do, something else, is much different, and also it's, you know, the clown car does not have projectiles in my like level, right? So it's not entirely the same, but similar enough. And, you know, there's enemies in both parts that are sort of like, you know, just are set up here, but then you have to deal with them on ground as well. I will say also with Ripsaw Rainbow, what is it called? The Ripsaw level, Ripsaw Rush? That can't be right. Ripsaw Race? Ripsaw Rage, there we go. Ripsaw Rage was also an influence, at least as far as the name goes. Though there's no point at which you're, like, being chased by a saw. It's just a level with a lot of saws, you know? It's almost more of a thematic connection than a literal one. And also because, you know, I'll be honest, I like it when I can use the same adjectives, nouns, or otherwise that DKC does, you know? Like, to me, that's good. You know, it can almost become a little bit of homage just by having Ripsaw in the name. And at least in someone's head. Maybe someone's head other than me, even. Shit, that might have been good enough. Yeah. That. Bah. This is a tricky jump. I'll say that jump has always been a bit tricky. I don't know if I like that jump very much, quite honestly. Not my favorite jump. Last level is Rocket Rush. This one's a fucking weird one. Look. I don't see my super world having anything as weird as this. You know? This is perhaps, like, the weirdest level in the game. You get a one-off, like, rocket that, like, slowly goes down. It's not really an auto-scroller, I guess. At least this part isn't. You have fuel to worry about, and the fires that you emit, they kill enemies. You get a checkpoint, and then you get a bunch more fuel, and then it's like an auto-scroller. And I'll say, they should have moved the camera more downwards. Well, actually, I say that from a modern perspective. In a modern game, you would want to scroll the camera, you would want to zoom the camera out significantly, because you do not have enough room to make the adjustments you need to beat this in one go. You have to basically be psychic, and also not bonk more than twice. First try, let's go. I just know this course is what it is, you know? This really needed like an F-Zero style thing, where it's like tilted down, as ridiculous as that would look, and as terrible that would look bad. It needed like an alternate thing where the sprites were smaller, maybe. If they could have managed some sort of like zoom out, where the camera zoomed out and it still looked good, on a SNES, that might be impossible, like, to do and make it look good. But I think that's what they need to do. Well, we're about an hour in. We'll do, I'll open up this one and let's go just look briefly at the Super Mario World levels. You know, the special world. I did say I would, but Mario World. But I don't know with this one. I'll say, like, Super Mario World is as great of a game as it is, as fantastic of a game as it is. Wait. Thought I hit up. There we go. As fantastic of a game as it is, it's never my main influence, you know? I've always been, like, more of a DKC person, you know? More into that side of things, looking more to that than this. These levels I would call eccentric, you know? They're weird, they're just like a bunch of stuff, and in some cases, they almost come off as just like, they are bonus levels in the sense that they were just thrown in, maybe. Or like, ideas that were like too kooky and weird for like the main thing, like, this is just a level where you go up, and you hit blocks, and you make vines, and then you fall for 12 seconds. And, that's about it. That's about all there is to this level. Oh, and you hit a guy. P-switch. P-switch. You hit a P-switch, and then you run across it, and, there you go. Like, that's, I'll say, like, that's... I don't know what I would take away from that, you know, other than, yeah, I guess you can make it really weird. I mean, I guess some people would even consider, like, my, last level a little weird. I heard some people talk, in, like, one streamer's chat, they were saying, like, this is weird, this is a weird one, on account of it was you know, a clown car level where you were playing... A clown car level where you were, you know, mostly just flying, which is unusual. Most clown car levels Most clown car levels. Most clown car levels involve like the shooter version, and where you can like shoot things. And I'll admit that maybe was a challenge, but you know, part of the reason is I wanted to do a type of level that wasn't in the super world, and that was the result. That said, this is a bizarre. I guess this is like a final test for an item that is like the one item of Super Mario World where, yeah, when they put it into Super Mario Maker, it needed an entire redesign because it was not great. In this case, this level is like really weird too because you need to like figure out where all your collectibles are and keep hitting them to like you know, not die. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god, is it even possible to get to it? Ah, there we go. We just had to do some slightly unintuitive stuff, and then it was possible. I'll say this power-up. The new redesign in Mario Maker almost makes it too powerful of an item, but it makes it fun and good to play. Which, sorry they didn't do that in this original game. That's a triangle. That's right, I can recognize triangles. Alright, next up. These levels are short, I'll say. And, I was about to say, maybe we can even cheese them a little bit. Like, this is a platform level where you hit on-offs. And, it's kind of slow. I've already done a platform level in the Lost World, so... In my Lost World, in Bonus Biome, so... Yeah, this got nothing I want, you know? I actually feel like I have enough, like, platform level hijinks so far in there, you know? I want more things that are, that you don't have to wait for, you know? I'll say that, I think that this next level should be very fast-paced if you choose it to be, you know? And it should involve Mario moving at full speed a lot. And being able to move at full speed a good deal. Having a vine version of the platform level is good, though. That's a good shift for your second half. You know, not every Mario level, I think, has, like, multiple ideas and plays with them in the same way that DKC does, but sometimes they do it. It's awesome. Like a year ago, played, Mario World Randomizer. I did a co-op, it was a whole thing. And that is one of the earliest streams that was preserved since I saved it. I saved the randomizer stuff because it was a collab. Didn't save the playthrough part of that stream, though. Anyway. I remember this level in particular giving us, like, a really hard time. To be fair, they did change up the enemies, so it's not just... It wasn't just a normal fair, I guess. It was maybe tougher, but it took us a while to get... God damn it. I don't wanna... Can you not? Maybe you can't, in this game. I'm just gonna... Yeah. Cheeps are like 900 times more threatening in this game than in Mario Maker. I feel like I say that every time I see cheap... Fuck it! Ice level physics? Yeah, that's ice level physics. You could do ice level physics. We're not gonna do that. It's a cloud level in my super world. You could do ice level physics, though. Though, then again, I did say that maybe we could do icicles. There could totally be, like, ice blocks and running across icicles. That would totally be a possibility. And it would also allow us to do things like have big voids, quote-unquote. They're just, like, big fields of icicles to run across. I kind of like the idea of it being Pokey Pressure with, Pokey Pressure being a level where there's a bunch of Pokies for you to deal with, first off. Bunch of Pokies to deal with, first off. Second off, icicles running across them. You know, and, huge sections where you can't rely on the ground being there. That sounds low-key good. Now, it'll be 3, so Yoshi is not an option, but maybe Tail. Maybe, Tanuki, so that you can just, like, jump up and, tail them. Pokies are stronger in this game than in... Oh, bad. I was hitting the wrong shoulder buttons to jump off Yoshi. Also, they don't do that in this game. You have to use the A button. Those guys are also fireproof. Oh, you know what? They spit fire. That makes sense. Seriously, though. Pokey's fireproof? Man. Bit strong. Bit strong. That was some stuff. Some of these levels are just some stuff, I'll say. And here's a hybrid water level. Kind of weird. Insofar as it's just like a plain. You know, it's not even like a forest or something that, you know, you think of when you think of hybrid water levels. I know you only think of that because of Mario Maker. It'd be cool in Mario Maker 2 if this is possible, I'm just saying. Also, sometimes when the water level goes down a little bit, you start to be able to kill them. I have nothing to say about this level other than, like, certain environmental effects can make enemies less dangerous or more dangerous. Could be like a rising water level that makes... or such, but, like I said, clouds. Cloud is the purpose. Cloud is the focus. No, none of that shit. Hey, BL Raven Witch? Or Wizard, sorry, Witch, what the fuck. BL Raven Wizard. Oh, I said the other thing. How you doing? I suppose that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a BL Raven Witch. Or maybe... Well, I guess I shouldn't assume. I know I shouldn't assume. Maybe you're looking for a wizard, or, is there a word for... A general magic user. I guess that's non-binary. You just call them a magic user. Wizard, yeah. Just a raven? I feel like if you're looking for a raven, that might be confused with just a bird. I feel like some sort of magical caster is required. I have nothing to say about this level. Maybe we should. We just got one more of these, and, I could pull up some Tropical Freeze as well. Did I see the Paper Mario trailer yet? What do you mean? The one from, like, the Direct a couple weeks ago? Yeah, I've seen it many a time. It's wonderful. This is a level with Wigglers, and we were just talking about how maybe Wigglers could play a role in this level. In the level I'm making. I want to make. Wigglers are really good in combination with Yoshi, because Yoshi is like one of the ways that you can kill them. And I think that's also the case of the tail. So maybe the tail would be a good thing to combo with Wigglers, you know, so that there's a strategic way where you can kill them by getting on the ground at their level. What did I... And doing a thing, you know? Yeah, I've seen it. It's been out for, that trailer's been out for a good long while now. Unless there's a new one that just came out, like today, in which case I haven't seen it, but, you know, I've seen the one with, like, all the stuff that you would want to see, pretty much. You know, they showed combat, they showed partners, they showed story stuff happening. They showed a lot. You know, enough where you'd be able to extrapolate and go like, okay, I know what else is in here. This isn't a secret. How did I die there? I died on Yoshi. How is that possible? I don't understand how in these cases I'm dying on Yoshi. Like, 1000% do not understand how that is even possible. How can you die on Yoshi? I know you can die, like, without Yoshi. Look at that. I touched Wiggler and I died? Was it that I touched Wiggler and then also touched the flame? Maybe I also touched the flame at the same time. So it's sort of two separate hits. I don't understand, but whatever. I'll say that I don't think the special world is, like, the most best example of a lost world of that sort of deal. I would say that the only level that really stands out to me as like a level with a new idea that's like good is like this one with these sumo guys. What the fuck? The fuck happened there? Okay, there we go. These sumo guys are entirely new, and, you know, it's kind of fun to combat them by going underneath them. I guess this is not so dissimilar from my original Pokey Pressure idea, you know, insofar as an enemy dropping things on you from above. I'm just gonna go above here. Dropping things on you from above and you having to deal with that, you know. Except in this one, there's some counterplay where you can, like, literally hit them from below, and that'll let you do it. Which, yeah, I don't think that setup is really feasible in, like, Mario Maker in any way, shape, or form. It's just interesting to note. I keep forgetting that it's not right trigger to jump off of Yoshi. I love T2ID, by the way, if you're wondering. Yes, I'm very excited for that remake. We'll absolutely get it. This level also seems to have just a mix of everything. You know, like, here's some some turtles. Here's some of these guys. It is the last level in the game, so I guess that makes sense. Were these sumo guys in any other level in the game? I forget. Maybe they're not, like, original to this level, or just making their final appearance here. I would have guessed that they came from this level, though, so I don't know. What do I know? There's not, like, a ton of them at a certain point. You are a super player. I'm not gonna write a message in coins. That's passé. No one does that anymore. Also, that would be in the last level, not the third to last level. That's the Super Mario World special thingamajig. How you unlock this color scheme is you beat that. It's not. I gotta feel like I would hazard a guess that the special world came last and was like a bunch of like scattered ideas that weren't quite feeling like they were tight enough for the rest of the game, or like, you know, maybe they were too hard or like too like erratic, and they just like made the Lost World and they thought, oh, this is a fun place for all these extra levels that we didn't really get around to, you know, that didn't make it into the rest of the game, which is true, but also it, you know, it's a little different from DKC2 and DKC3 and any game that uses a Lost World type thing. Okay, we've been doing this whole like tour of various games, but I'm just gonna do one more in Tropical Freeze, and I don't think we'll do every level here. Maybe just a couple. Let's think. Let's use our heads here. We have sort of some ideas around like using a bunch of pokies, using a bunch of pokies. Oh man, I'm just tempted to do all of them. Fuck it, let's do all of them. Fuck it, why not? I say that, maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna be playing as Funky. That'll make it these like reasonably easy, you know. I definitely want to do Popopolis. I should probably do one with ice physics because we were thinking about ice. You know, this is Tropical Freeze, so that's gotta be like one of them, right? We should probably do the first one, but I don't think the first one is Popopolis, is it? What is the first one in this game? Swinger Flinger. So in this game, the Lost World levels are just sort of, you know, in each world in a temple, which I'll say isn't as good, you know. I would say that to the modern DKC games, which is that, no, you should have a special place that you go where you do the level, and it's a separate place. You know, it can be unlocked on a like level world by world basis, but I think it's better if it's all at once. Weird thing about these levels is that they are very difficult, and they have no checkpoints. That sort of makes them very different from the original DKC worlds, you know, insofar as they are challenge levels, you know. They are specifically set up to be like more of a modern idea of a Lost World. I guess that's what we can take away from this, is that this is a more modern take on a Lost World. There we go. Where, like, instead of just being harder, they are also more specifically like gauntlets. In the style of, like, you know, Mario Odyssey also has a big, long gauntlet that you have to get through. You know, other games have that, like, I'll say it's not good in the Impossible Layer, but Impossible Layer also hangs its hat on a really long level that's really hard, which I think in the case of Impossible Layer, they go way too far on that, so there is, you know, a limit to how far players will accept in that sort of thing. But that is more the way of things right now. You know, in like modern games, I'll say. How about, you know what? I'll say. I will say sudden death on this game. 2 tries, and we'll not count that first one. Because they are long levels, and they're gonna get tedious if we have to see them like 100 times. You know, let's just get a flavor and see how many we can beat in 2 tries. And, you know, if we get far in, those 2 tries are gonna last, you know? They're gonna really, like, take some time. You know, like that first... I don't know how long that first try was, but it felt substantial to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just how it feels. You know, it's a long level that gives you a bunch of, like, related challenges. In this case, related to vines. You know, some that you can climb on and some that you can't climb on. You know, again, a thing that we can take note of is like, okay, use elements in more than one way, right? Have things that you can use and things that you can't use. And, you know, have some variety while still having consistency. I do think from my super world, we'll be looking more at the originals, you know, more at DKC. And obviously we already have 2 levels, so switching to like a no checkpoint thing would be really out of line, you know, and not really a change I'm all that interested in. Hey, there we go. That is the end of this one. So we can't do it in 2 tries. Well, that was sort of 3, but you know, who's counting? Didn't count the first one. Maybe 3 would be a good number for this, but I don't have 3 heads on like immediate access. If I had thought of this before 5 minutes ago, before tonight, I might have set up like a whole bunch of... I might have set up 3 heads like in advance. But I will say, I was busy today, you know, job interview stuff, walking a good distance, recovering from walking a good distance. I will say before the stream, I did find time to do the necessaries on yesterday's VOD, you know. I picked out a thumbnail and found all the timestamps, which is what I call that doing the necessaries whenever I, you know, do that. Here's Bopopolis. Bopopolis is probably the most good one of these. I don't know. The most classic of these. Bopping is like so core of a mechanic that like a whole level around it is just very fun. And it has a bunch of really memorable little challenges that just come one after another and are like vaguely related but also are memorable in and of themselves. It's great. Doing the necessaries, I got that from Looper. That's what they say when they kill someone in Looper. And I've applied it to putting videos on YouTube, which I think is fun to say to myself, like, you know, gotta do the necessaries and such. I missed a really good shortcut there. In this level, you can just, in some cases, just like roll and take huge fucking shortcuts. Not in this case. You'll die if you try it in this case. So, you know, it's important to know when you can and can't pull that shit. Here? Jesus Christ. I'll say I don't think I'm necessarily looking for something this hard. You know, I saw the clear rate on the Link level and also even on Ripsaw Rainbow. Oh my god, something like that would murder people in Mario Maker. That would, if you had a level like that, which first off, how would you time it? You know, it would be like really hard to time properly in Mario Maker. And 2, oh my god, it would have a below 1 clear rate, and you know, even just being a bunch of normal ass platforming, you know. I will say also, it just occurred to me that there is, in addition to these like lost levels, that's a whole different thing. In addition to these like challenge levels in these worlds, there is a world you unlock with that. So I guess we should see that as well. I'll say for that, same rules apply because they are checkpointless levels. I will say, by the way, I would never apply such a rule to the viewer levels, you know, as far as like, oh, you know, these levels have no checkpoints, so maybe they should have fewer tries. Like, no, that's not why I'm making that rule. Shit. I'm just saying, we gotta book it. We gotta keep moving. Levels all based around pendulums, which, you know, you can do in Mario Maker, but not quite like this. I guess, you know, moving platforms that are moving through, oh Jesus, dangerous places, and you know, sometimes past other moving platforms that you can't, that you like have to jump over or something. Those are cool things to do. The level. And there's some barrel blasting as well for fun. That's always something that a good DKC level can do. I will say that's the one thing I wish I could do in Mario Maker, you know. Mario Maker 2, please add barrel cannons. Make it like Link's sword, you know, make it a cameo thing. Add more cameo stuff. And specifically, I just want barrel cannons. I don't want Donkey Kong. I don't want Diddy. I just want barrel cannons. I would also take barrels that you can throw. You know, more projectiles, but like one-use projectiles. I think that would be cool. And that would let you make some really balanced stuff, you know? Whew. Thank God for Punky's, like, you know... Funky's, like, bag of tricks, you know? Ooh. We're, like, late enough where I wouldn't necessarily mind if I died, insofar as I think I've shown, like, most of the level, and, you know, a good variety of elements involving things moving back and forth. You know, you could totally do a level where things are on rails in Mario Maker, and they're the same type of rail in all cases, like some platforms, some enemies, etc. And it would probably be cool like this one is. Ooh, we haven't lost one yet. Let's go. I'll say, if I were making a proper 2D platformer, I would probably hew more towards the classic style. You know, I wouldn't... I don't really like levels without checkpoints, is the thing. I feel like a level without checkpoints is a worse level. You know, you can have a mode like Time Trial where the checkpoints don't activate, and, you know, if you want to get a good time, you need to restart every time. And yes, you will. You will do that thing. But to me, that should be a separate mode, or like a hard mode that you activate, you know, that... I think that might be a thing in this game. You know, a mode where you take out all the checkpoints. Like, all the checkpoints. But having, like, regular-ass levels where you do that, I just don't know. I like what Kaze does. Kaze does a thing where, you know, there's like a crown that you get if you clear a level without dying. You know, and to do that, you would have to restart every time you died or took damage. It's not just without dying, but without taking damage even. And I feel like that is just like a good optional collectible you can put in that is like, you know, incentivizes playing perfectly, but doesn't like out and out require it in critical core mainline content. I guess it's just a matter of preference, though, you know. I just like the way it was done way back when, you know. The other thing I feel like is a little bit of a bummer as far as these levels go is they're all like, you know, one theme, you know. Some of them, fuck. That was pretty far to fucking die. Did I die before? No, I still have 98 lives, which probably means I didn't die before. Okay, I'm gonna trust that I would have popped that off if I had remembered. If I had died, you know. I would have remembered. I'm usually pretty good about that. Okay. I was like 10 feet away from the end there. The, first time. So, we've seen most of the level. Whoops, wrong one. Do two tries. Yeah. Lava level there. There's some like platforms that are moving. Big gauntlet. Well, sums up all these levels, you know. Big gauntlet. You put a level like this in Mario Maker, you know, the question would be, why didn't you put in a checkpoint? You know? And I think it'd be a fair question. I feel like levels should have checkpoints. I feel like they should have checkpoints, and they should have, like, a power-up. No, that's just... for a traditional level, anyway, I'll say. You know, puzzle level, troll level, they don't necessarily need those things. Kaizo, like a 20-second level, you know, okay, if you're short enough, or fast enough, or, like, you know, specifically timed enough, you don't really need a power-up. In fact, power-up could mess up the timings of it. But for like a traditional level, I feel like every segment needs a checkpoint, or every checkpoint needs a power-up, and every level needs a checkpoint. I don't like it when, if from a checkpoint, right, you'd be better off just restarting to get like a power-up. Like that to me seems like an unfortunate thing. You know, like, well, kind of sucks. This level is very tightly scripted. To the point where, like, you know, you're making every jump pretty much in the exact time that you can make every jump. And it goes to some really cool, very scripted areas in the late part, which maybe we won't see, but that's fine. There's a cool effect whenever you land on a guy. I'm noticing now. I don't know that I ever noticed that weird, that like emphasis. Or on landing. It kind of looks like 80s to me. You know, like a bunch of geometric patterns. There's also a big dust cloud whenever you land. Emphasis, I guess, you know, hey, making a modern game, put more emphasis on, like, the effects, you know? I do, personally, my preference as far as, like, how enemies should die, I love it in the DKCs when they, are just, like, flung headlong, they're just, like, flung headlong into the background, into the foreground. I think that is great, you know. I think especially of, like, the boat levels where you can hear them go, like, splash in the water, you know, see them go off into the lava, etc., the lava levels. I think that's lovely. It has a little bit of what Ape Out has a little bit of that as well. Well, that's gonna do it. Oh wait, maybe I can pull it out. Hell yeah. This is a cool scripted sequence where, like, yeah, every jump is pretty much set in stone. What am I bouncing on? I bounced on the spike that I couldn't see and hit my head on the spike that I could see. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Yeah, we're pretty close there, but mess up a couple jumps and it's over. I'll say I don't want my levels to be like that. You know, even a Lost World level, I don't want it to be you miss a couple jumps and it's over. You know, I want it to be more forgiving, more just like a normal level but slightly harder, slightly more specific, etc. Hey, here's an ice level. Let's think specifically what it does. This is a weird ice level. I remember this one. What this level does is it does a lot of, like, moving elements. Where, like, you won't be able to move until certain things move in and out of the way. You could do something like this in Mario Maker by doing, like, bullet bill platforms moving up and down and having it so that, you know, you have to duck and cover at certain heights, you know, when it's up here, and then you can continue on when it's lower. It might be hard to get the mechanisms all working and, like, synced up. Also, like, you can easily, like, slide off to your death. I should have stayed over on the side. Let's get farther the second time, and also think more deeply about how it uses ice. It uses ice to make all this shit really perilous. You know, like, not only have to land, you have to stay on there. That's difficult under ice. It also means that if you're moving when the thing is, like, goes into lockdown, you know, you might slide and keep going, and before you know it, be somewhere where you don't want to be. Case in point. You might want to time it a little better. Like this. I like these cool pendulums, cool swinging pendulums, groups of platforms that you have to use on either side that are icy. This sort of thing is like, I'd be surprised if you could get this like all synced up in Mario Maker. You'd almost have to do like a thing where you set the platforms in motion and then you make the player like wait or fall or something, such that you know, such that the platforms have time to get into position. Or routed in a weird way where the platforms get into position like first and really close to where they're going to end up, but the player is routed like a long way around them, which would be a little awkward. I'll say also this level's made easier by Funky Kong, who can stand on spikes. But not, you know, can't, like, have his... Can't jump into spikes without taking damage, though, so, you know, still difficult. And, of course, pits are pits. Okay, cool. We're pretty much home free. So long as we can jump over some things. An auto-scroll, a short auto-scroll sequence can be a memorable finale for a level. You know, I guess that's my takeaway here. I think that playing some thousand-year... I'm looking at chat again. Remember, thousand-year door stuff. Playing some Tropical Freeze is interesting insofar as it does... It does, like, remind me of the more modern style of secret level, you know, as a gauntlet. And I guess it is novel for a game to have, like, a half dozen of them, you know, rather than just one of them at the end. And it's novel for every world to have one. And it does make them stand out more from the regular levels, that they are intense gauntlets. And I'll say this one, by the way, hey, this is the actual... goddamn Lost World proper. Those previous ones were more like Lost levels, where you you do the requirements for them and you unlock them one at a time. You know, basically, I think you just have to do KONG in every level, which I'll say isn't nearly as good as having to do all the you know, bonus levels. That's a more fitting lost level thing, if you ask me. I love this game, and I think it's about as good as it could be with the, you know, choices they made, and also for a modern DKC, with some minor quibbles aside, you know, like things like that, and, you know, I could use Kremlings. The next time DKC comes back, need the Kremlings. Need me Kremlings. But, like, the level design is immaculate. There's amazing stuff all over, and it just looks gorgeous as well. Fuck, what? Bud, where am I? Okay. You know what? I just have to wait that thing out. That's, you know, that's my least favorite thing to do in a level, is wait something out. Unfortunately, this level being the level forms in front of you type level, that's a big part of it. It's just like waiting for things to appear, which, you know, I'll say I don't really want one of my levels to be that. You know, I'd rather levels just like, I'd rather you be able to go as fast or slow as you want, with the possible exception of a literal auto-scroller level that is like a traditional or a platform type one. This construction is awkward, and also it's, you know, it is one that players will struggle if like their timing is different from your timing, which invariably that's the case. They throw a lot into these levels, I'll say. Also, you know, it is like a finale gauntlet, not just in the fact that you cannot save or, you know, there's no checkpoints, whatever, but also in the fact that it's just like, here's one idea, here's a completely different idea. They are very, only like a little bit linked, which is weird compared to the rest of the levels of the game, but it is suitable for a final challenge, you know? I think there's, like... That's good. Two more. And, whew. And then, yeah, we'll make some Mario. I'll say, like, don't expect, like, the longest Mario making portion. Maybe, like, an hour, I guess. This would be the first Mario Maker stream where, like, looking for inspiration and talking about existing levels takes up a majority of the time, I guess. I don't think we're going to be going, like, you know, as long as... I don't think we're going to be going, like, super long on that. On account of, like, I don't want to. I'd rather these, like, Maker streams stay relatively short, I guess, or I say relatively short. They're usually, like, 2 hours long. An hour long to 2 hours long. But you know what I mean, is like, they shouldn't be as long as the other streams, which, honestly, are also probably tending a little too long. I guess, you know, we're doing this in lieu of a Thursday stream in some ways, you know, or in lieu of a regular Thursday stream, which would just be like anything I want. This level has minecarts. I didn't even think about that. Look, another good example of levels having a little bit of everything. This level has some barrel blast, has some minecarts, has some rocket barrel. Little bits of everything, and the kitchen sink, and comes off as a very specific, like, hey, you know, we're trying to blow things out here. Again, that's just how Lost Worlds work nowadays. Yeah, that was... Trust me, there's rocket barrel stuff, it's alright. If you don't know what rocket barrel stuff is, it's not my favorite thing anyway. Maybe we should change the rules here on the last two and just like finish them. You know, whatever. We don't need to spend that much time doing these. I like the sudden death rule. Let's stick with it for you know, this level. Trying to think of like what exactly its thing is. All I got is like there's platforms and they move, and also there's these wind vortices. And I think those things hurt you even if you're Funky Kong. Those spikes. A little inconsistent with the rest of the game, but whatever. There's also these platforms that explode like shortly after you land on them, and like the entire level is that, or fall after you land on them. I guess, you know, that's a way to make things more dangerous, just in general. Like, more platforms that explode, that fall, etc. Maybe this level could have, like, a bunch of, like, ice platforms, but also, like, platforms that are limited use, you know, that are blue and light, you know, that fall. I haven't used blue platforms since the last world, so it wouldn't be too out of line. Or it wouldn't be like... It's been a while since I used them, and they're like a standard. You know, it's... there are people out there that use blue platforms in every level. Couldn't be me, but... You know, they're good enough where I can very easily see justifying using them. Often and frequently. Jesus, we got through in one try. Hell yeah. How about you know what? Let's do one more sudden death on the one on the left there, the minecart one. Feel like I could probably do it. We'll just do one more here on account of it'd be nice to finish. It'd be nice to do all of these that are actually in the Lost World proper. And I'll say, like, these Lost levels, you know, they sort of, like, do cool... They sort of do cool things with the theme, you know? Like, they've had this temple aesthetic for a while now, but, you know, in these levels you actually go outside of them, you know, outside of the temples, and it's pretty cool, like, to transition from inside to outside. And, like, you can see the castle walls, you can see the temple walls, and, all this weird, like, stone stuff outside, and pretty fucking cool. I guess the thing that I could say here is, like, some sort of, like, first area to second area, like, theming transition could be a cool way to mix it up, even if the level is pretty straightforward, you know, in being a cloud level. You know, you could absolutely go inside a cloud. You could absolutely go inside a cloud and do things inside a cloud for a change of pace, and that would be pretty dope. Here's the rocket barrel section. Thankfully, they added health to the rocket barrel in this version of the game. Originally, you just had like one hit, I think, in returns. I think Tropical Freeze added a second heart to it and made it a little more fun, a little more nice, you know. Same with the minecart as well. Same story. Ooh. And, you know, I'll say I think that's one of the better changes they made in going to returns. Where is platform? I guess I skipped a guy, so maybe something would have appeared if I did it right. But Maybe this is like requiring like some roll jumps and stuff. Maybe that is what it's getting at there. Hey, it was able to finish. Cool. I think I've read somewhere. I think someone else is talking about this. Maybe this is like the only time in the game where roll jumps are required to get through, and not just a you know, a power move. You know, which is fairly cool. Mario Maker, back to there. Let's actually go ahead and do Mario Maker 2 and get those tries out of the way. All right, we've gotten inspiration now. We've looked at a bunch of games of Lost Worlds in various other games. So let's think, what exactly should we take away from them and pull into ours? One thing that comes to mind is like pits, long sequences where there's no ground or unstable ground, and I think that that would work well with icicles. Another thing is some sort of big theming transition. Maybe in the back half, you're like more... Here's an idea that I just had. Okay. Towards the back half, nighttime here would make it low gravity and weird, right? So let's not do that. It's not like the ship theme where it's just thematic and, you know, more of a storm. It's actually not a storm at all. More of a just cloudscape. But there could be sequences where, like, you're like platforming, you know, more under and through clouds than like over them. And you know, maybe that would make sense as like, hell, like thematically speaking, like having there be like icicles within clouds would be thematically cool. Look at that. We could do stuff where like as you're going under, they're like dropping icicles on you. Maybe they... Does it look better if it's like this? I think it looks better if it's like this. If the clouds literally have like bottoms of icicles, or like bottomed with icicles. Ooh. I like that. And then there can be sequences where you have to like sprint under them. Just... Get rid of these, I'm not gonna use these. I've already used Lakitus enough in my super world. I don't need to add them on. Another thing that I haven't really used properly yet, come to think of it, is a Spiny with, wings. That is to say, a Paraspiny. And a Paraspiny has a dangerous attack, which I think in this case would be fun to deal with. What if there were cases where you had to like double back and like take shelter or something? Or that was an option. Let's see, how does that... I thought I got rid of you guys. Get gone. Out of here. I want to find some ways to slow down the player such that, ooh, that's kind of funny. It works like that. Such that these icicles are more of a threat, and, not just entirely like you run under them. I've already done a level where you just run under them, and it's cool and good, but I don't know, I feel like looking for more now. I suppose it could also be sort of like a lightning lookout type thing, where you're using the icicles to occasionally take out enemies. Like that, kinda. That would not be half bad. Another thing we can do with them. Are these guys taken out by icicles as well? I think everything's killed by icicles. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I feel like I'm dancing around it, actually. What the perfect enemy is for, like, icicle sequences that people are gonna find intensely scary. It's gonna be a chain chomp. Running past a chain chomp as icicles fall around you? Oh my god, what are you gonna fucking do? Like, this is like the famous, the most like take your time ass enemy there is. I love the idea of having it so that it's a very natural transition, you know, in the back half as like you're running you're running more on top of these than you know, under these. You know, you're more like platforming in the clouds themselves. And maybe there'll be like whole spaces that are like more elaborate than just like, you know, here's a big cloud. You know, maybe more like, let's just take an example here. Let's just form it like this. And then we'll lower the cloud to the right level. That's a more efficient way of doing it. Beautiful. Okay, so we got this cloud here, right? So how exactly can you construct whole sequences? Well, I guess it could be in that gauntlet style where you cannot stop for nothing. Oh my god. You cannot stop for nothing when you're running on icicles. It almost becomes like speedrun style, in a way, you know, with like jumping over like small clouds in the middle. This is almost too much. Like, can you route the player the other way after like putting them through that? Can you put other platforms in the middle of these big clouds? Like, it almost seems like this would just eat through real estate and be dead simple. Yeah! Okay, this is maybe a little too deadly. This fucker might bit too strong. But I feel like we're in the right ballpark here. And maybe like in addition to just like running over icicles, you could also be jumping over things, you know, you can be jumping over, say, giant spinies that are flying at you. Yeah, that doesn't really... Unless I were to do like a spring, and if I do a spring, what happens then? Like, say, spring... Oh, well, it's... Since it's giant, the spring is weird. Yeah, it's not like it's gonna... What if I do spring on top? What if I do two... One spring on top, off-center. No, that doesn't feel good. Try without the spiny. That's... Ay. That's actually kind of fun. That works better than it should. What the fuck? Like, if you're just running, it's gonna be in just the right position to just jump through it. Oh my god, I almost love the idea of these, like, perpetual chomps. Like, more of that, less of the normal type. Like, let me just do one of them here. Let me just try out a perpetual chomp right here and see how much of a nightmare it is. Okay. In this case, it's a little less good. Insofar as it's a little hard to anticipate. How about a perpetual chomp going the other way? Here. I almost feel like it'd be cool at the an edge, so that you're like jumping through the gap that the perpetual chomp has, or otherwise, like, looking for a window to, like, go down. You know, there could be some cool spaces where there's, like, a wall of clouds here, and, you know, such. Ooh, I feel like we have some ideas here. What else do we want? Okay, we've explored a little bit the icicle stuff. We've explored a little bit chomps. I think we have a great idea as far as these perpetual chomps go that seem like a real goddamn nightmare, you know? Well, I guess actually you can take it slow and, like, get a tail, and then they're like, you know, they're like, open to it, you know? Which, hey, if it's fun and fast and really scary for people who are going really, really fast, that is also great. You know, that is a great... What the fuck? You know what? We need to lower this and have it so that it's resting. Ooh, it can't rest on it, can it? It has to be... If you end up spawning one before the other, it's gonna be awkward because it'll be... Maybe it'll spawn in reverse. Let me see if I can reproduce that. Oh, also, hang on. This guy can end up going the other way first, randomly. Worth noting. Don't know there's really any way to deal with that other than, like, these perpetual thomps could be... These perpetual chomps could be set up in a slightly different way. You know, it could be more like this. Well, no, it couldn't be. It could be more like this. Or like, they're just, like, being constantly chomped out from there. I'm going to have to experiment, do some testing, try different things. This will be more awkward maybe from, like, a platforming perspective. You know, like... I mean, I guess you don't want to get that close to a thwomp anyway, so it's not really all that entirely awkward. But it is a little more awkward than just having it be on top, I think. That's what my gut says anyway. Let's do some other type things. Let's try out, one thing I was thinking of was having there be a lot of Pokies. So how would that work? First off, let's just try just having a bunch of Pokies. I will say the Link level already did Pokies as, like, a major enemy. My last Link level. Thank you for the follow, Benegit Knack. I appreciate it. My last level already had Pokies, so maybe doing a bunch of Pokies isn't really advisable. That said, like I said, you know, you can totally use the same levels, the same enemies in multiple levels in a world, and it almost sort of forms a thematic connection, you know, which is something we learned when we were looking at DKC3 earlier on. So it's not bad for one level to have Pokies and another level to also have Pokies. I am currently wondering if Pokies have a place in this level that is based around icicles and chain chomps. You know, maybe. Let's try some Pokies. Let's try some Pokies up here, let's say. On this, like, icicle deal. And we're not going to worry about theming right now. That's kind of cool. And it can be low enough where you could jump over it if you want, or you can just do, like, tail stuff. I feel like it'd be cool if it was, like, Clobber Carnage levels of just, like, you know, saturated with them, you know? Like, what if there were big groups of Pokey, and, how does that feel? Can you jump over them reliably? Can you? Yes, you can absolutely jump over them reliably. If you want to kill them, how does that feel? Also, you know what, hey, let's change this to be this implementation of the perpetual chomp. Maybe a little more reliable. That feels a little weirder. Let's have this be an irregular group. So they're at, like, the heads are at different heights. And, you know, maybe that'll make it, like, that'll make it so it's more rewarding to, like, just jump over them rather than kill them. I don't know if that's better or worse. Seems like it's kind of awkward to kill them while they're, like this, I guess. Make this, 1 over. There we go. That'll be good. Start here. And... can you, like, jump over those, or can you only, like, tail it? I don't want it to be only tail. One thing I always believe in is accommodating people who are, you know, took damage or don't have a power-up otherwise. Not quite. Well, one thing it could do would be to add, like... no, those are gonna fall. Make these two higher. No, that's gonna make it harder to, like, land on the other side. They have to be short. Be, like, manageable for, like, a... maybe the middle one can be high? Let's see. Let's try this on for size. They could also be separated. They don't have to be all together like that. That feels pretty good to me. Big groups of Pokey. I like that idea a lot. Geez, I feel like we've made some really good progress in the last 15 minutes of making. You know, we got cool ideas already. Let's try some Wiggler stuff. How about? This doesn't have to be called Pokey Pressure, you know? That was just an idea based on a previous idea, really, that isn't really the case. And also, like, you know, naming it in the same fashion of Clobber Carnage isn't necessary. That said, Clobber Carnage doesn't have clobbers for, like, a huge segment, so it would be okay to not have Pokies for every segment, even if it's called Pokey Pressure. That is well within the bounds of naming levels. Well within what is common enough. I was gonna try some Wiggler stuff, but that's just kind of fun. And also, you can jump over those guys. Let's see. They'd have to be shorter. They'd have to be shorter to be jumped over. Because as is, you could jump over, like, one of them, but 3 is going to be a problem. They could be, like, tall and short patterns. Like, how about that? That almost looks like, the cannon shots from DKC2. So, you could, like... you'd always have to be jumping from somewhere that was, like, at the same height or lower in order to make it over, but this sort of thing is feasible. Let me try without the cape, without the tail, without Tanuki. Possible. Yep. You really need some coins to, like, guide you to the place to, like, slip through. I feel like if I'm finding this to be really unintuitive to like jump between the holes on the perpetual thwomp or the perpetual chomp, I feel like players other than me are going to find it like twice as unintuitive. So, you know, jot that down. Let's try some Wiggler stuff. Would Wigglers... ooh, Wigglers would actually be a really good, like, complement to the Spinies. You know, you could absolutely have, like... absolutely could be like huge groups like this, where like also unintentionally this theming looks kind of nice. I kind of like these like clouds on top of clouds look. Absolutely could have some cases where like maybe not that tight. Maybe not that tight. Could absolutely have some cases where you're like jumping over, jumping on a wiggler, jumping out of the wiggler. Again, if I'm finding it to be unintuitive, players will also probably need to have second thoughts about that perpetual chomp, but also if you time it wrong, if the timing is all janky, you actually want to go longer. I'm leaning away from this specific implementation of the perpetual thwomp, but I do think there are cool ways to use it. Like, I'll say again, I think that this way has been cool every time. Also, the thing about these guys, which is pretty cool, as far as like this level goes, maybe they should be big. I don't know if I used big. I've used wigglers in 2 other levels, and I think they've always been small. In that level, they were small specifically. So why not a big one? That actually makes a lot of sense. The thing about wigglers is you can tail them. There's not like big pokies. No, just jumping pokies, which... Have I used jumping pokies before in the super world? You know what? Worth trying. Let's try some stuff with pokies. How about a big jumping group of them? How does this work? Let's, make, like... a big group, and, on higher ground, another group of them. I'm wondering if they're gonna get, like, desynced and all weird. You know, probably will get desynced and weird. Who can say? Let's put down a perpetual chomp, like, we can also have these chomps just be, like, vaguely threatening, you know? Or have them guard, like, optional stuff. Like, say, for instance, right here could be a, could be something like, this, where we're like, there's like some icicles here, and a little lower, though. 30 coin? This spacing is gonna be all wrong, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Also, I need to, like, restrain him so he won't go. He'll go into the spring. Yeah, that's all entirely fucked. How would you do it? Maybe, like, 2 over and have it so that the chain chomp is, like, biting into most of the coin, but not all of the coin. Let's see how this feels. Okay. Whoa, okay. Well, okay, these guys, these hopping fuckers are fucking chaotic, you know? Shit, I must have never used them because I feel like I would remember that they just keep on running towards you. You know, they're kind of scary. You know what they are? You know what they're applying? Pressure. This feels like I'm being pressured right here, which, if this level is to be called Pokey Pressure, maybe they should be jumping pokies. Pokies, you know? And then they will, like, be true to their name. The only thing is, I think it's more fun if they're, like, you know, dispatchable by tail, you know? And also, like, I kind of think predictable pokies are fun, but some experiments required with these, like, para pokies. Oh, maybe they don't jump necessarily. If they run into someone or they get, like, tailed, they'll turn around. Or if they just happen to land on an edge and, you know, don't jump over it. Which, you know, there's no way of accounting for that, I don't think. These guys are pretty chaotic, actually. Let's lower this so that you can, like, jump from the coin up to it, let's say. Also, lower. Do this. I know that I don't have to mess with the theming quite yet, but maybe move this back. What if you could, like, run on the icicles? This is probably going to be really awkward, isn't it? Yeah, the perpetual chomp is there. Oh, also, the perpetual chomp gets chilled by the icicles? Okay. That's funny. So if I were to stand on this icicle right here, would that kill the perpetual chomp? Unclear. Maybe it's just the ones that are further to the side, because those are the ones that sort of cross his path. These guys are like, scary in a way that normal Pokies are not, which is great. I need to take those guys to the drawing board. Let's fuck around with, like, a bunch of wigglers real fast, and maybe do, like, one or two more things. This has not been the longest, like, actual concerted making segment, but I think we have a great start, you know, even after just a single half hour of making. And I'm kind of in the mood to just have this be it and just, like, have it all bounce around the back of my head for a while. I'll say, going into the stream with, like, no ideas whatsoever, other than Chain Chomp and, Clouds, coming out with, like, such a semi-refined idea. Maybe it's not semi-refined, like, slightly refined idea, I feel pretty good about. And I think that this is a lovely start that will become a full level in I don't know how long, you know. I'll say I have a lot more time right now because I'm between jobs, but, you know, honestly, I'd feel like I'd rather work on, like, some other type things rather than just, like, focus on Mario Maker, you know. Like, I got tons of stream stuff I always want to do, you know, often involves Mario Maker. That's a little awkward if you kill that Wiggler instead of using it as a platform. Something to think about there. Oh, you know what? Make it big. We made the other one big. That'll make it big and also make it a better platform. Multiple benefits there. I should add something so that I can make it through this this area. What else should we try? I feel like Spinies are gonna be not a fit for this. I feel like we've got enough ideas, but let's just throw in some Spinies here and see how this works. I'm also not sure about Mecha Koopas. I was thinking Mecha Koopas earlier because it's been a little bit since I used them, and they're fun, but I just don't think there's a fit here. I feel like there's enough ideas and enough... We have enough cooking where, I don't know that Spinies have a place, but we're in the brainstorming phase of this level. We're just trying things out and seeing what sticks. So, you know. Another idea. Have a section where you ride a thing down. Ooh, that's good. There should be a point where... I'm gonna go to the subworld to get more space. It's a good sign. First, you know, stream of a level, and we're already going to the subworld to get more space. That is a damn good sign. I guess because you have tail, we're gonna have to figure out a way to cap up these clouds so you don't just get on top. This is simple. Well, bam. Just put some solid on top of them, and there we go. You could sort of see a little bit of the clouds, like, very top poking through, but I think that's fine. I think that's super fine, you know, no problems there. There should totally be a place where you have to fall through. Let's try this out and see how it works, right? Something like, how do we do this? Coin trail. Just coins, little coin indicator. Is there something that icicles will not kill? That'll be deadly, regardless of whether, you know, you're riding an icicle down. Because if we want to force players to go down, like, at the right spot, right? We're gonna need a way to incentivize other... We need a way to punish them if they go down in the wrong spot, right? So, how exactly could that be done? You know? I do think it'd be cool if there were enemies that were killed on the way down, to be clear. Which would be, Pokies. You know what? That's... makes sense, actually. Put, like, a couple of Pokies down here. And have it so that you have to ride it down. Really, it'd be good if they were suspended enemies, or enemies... Oh, wait a minute. Could... Eh? Huh? Huh? Bunch of chain chomps, perpetual style, just like, all in a row. Eh? Ooh. It's hard to stack them with this assembly, I'll say, so let's change the assembly a bit. Make it so that they're semi-solids that they're resting on. Oh, that stacks them. That's weird. Okay, they're gonna have to be at least one apart in order to not be stacked, but... vertical space is a bit of a concern here to make it work, but I reckon this'll do a thing. Okay. Move it up by one more. I suppose with this theming, it makes it impossible to have a... If it's consistent with the theming, to make an ice trail that doesn't have, like... doesn't have, like, a big cloud, so... it does limit our options some, but, you know, actually, we can just do the following. Well, bam. Easy. Not a problem. It does look a little funky, theming-wise, but I guess it's fine. We could also do, like... theming-wise, could do clouds as well. You know, like this kind of cloud. Do these types of clouds on top of regular, like, blue clouds look strange? Does that look peculiar? I wonder. Kind of a judgment call, I suppose. Okay. Alright, that worked. Let's try that again, see if it works a second time. And also, think for a second, how can we discourage the player from going down in the wrong spots? Saw blades would do it, but I don't know. I'm not feeling saw blades for this. A skewer would do it. You can't go through a skewer, but I don't know if I'm feeling a skewer for this either. Maybe just like the fear of... maybe just like players will be naturally inclined to, like, you know... say you put like a coin thing leading over here, they'll be naturally inclined to not do a thing until such time as, like, an arrow clearly tells them. Which needs to be one longer for that to work. May be able to see the arrow from, like, up there. Not really. That kind of works. It's a little awkward, but it kind of works. Put the arrow, like, here. They're maybe not gonna realize. Just coin trail. Coin trail should be good enough. Make it like a triple length coin trail. Big, you know? Make it fun to, like, collect. Try to position yourself to collect as many of these as you can. That kind of works. I'm not 100% sure about it, but whatever. That's a start, and that's all we're looking for tonight is exactly that, a start. Any last ideas that I want to, like, jot down real fast? Try out. Well, theming-wise, we can try, like, some bridges. See if that looks good on clouds. Should clouds have bridges? I don't know. Sort of makes it look like there's some sort of, like, cloud society hanging up here, which is cool. Sort of gives it some more, like, flavor, I guess. You know what? I think that these look cooler than the, than just, like, basic clouds. At least for cases like this. Anyway. Not sure about that, to be determined. This is maybe the last chance to do Shoe Goomba, Kuribo's shoe, in, the Super World. So, could do that, but, honestly, it's also the last chance to do Super Leaf, so, you know, I think I'd rather do Super Leaf. How many Kuribo shoe levels were in this Super World? Let me just, like, for reference, count real fast. Kuribo's shoe, how many levels? None in World 1. No. None in World 2. There's one in World 3, briefly, but not, like, majorly. As sort of like a like, late level of power-up, which was fun. Coastal Cup has a Yoshi. And a shell. It has a shell that you ride in a similar fashion to a Kuribo's shoe, but not, I don't think, an actual shoe. This has new Super Mario Brothers 2 Mario. Let's see, anything else? No, I don't think shoe has come up in a level since For Your Forge 3-4. Since 3-4. You know, I'm fine with that. You know, if I were doing it again, maybe I would have tried to find a way to fit a shoe into, say, you know, Pipeline Panic. Now that I say that, that is tempting, actually, to put a shoe or two into Pipeline Panic. That is the level with, like, the lowest clear rate, too. So, it would actually help it to, like, increase the clear rate to add a shoe, which would let you maybe, like, you know, get across some of the lava. If when the tide is up, you can maybe get across the tide by, like, jumping across the gaps and giving up your shoe. You know what? We did a round of revisions last when like World 7 went up, but and like one of the ones that didn't get revision, a lot of the World 6 ones got revised. Like this one had, like, its checkpoint reworked. This one had a bunch of structural reworks. This one had had like a small aesthetic mistake corrected. So this one was kind of the lucky one of the 5. One of the 2 lucky ones of the 5. This one also didn't get re-uploaded. But maybe we could make it better by adding a boot. I'm gonna write that down real fast because that's a good idea. Shit. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna make I have a document for the super world. I would like to have it so that it mentions this. And it's Google Drive now. I feel like it should separate like my documents from ones I access, you know, because you access a million documents in your life, and it's like, well, I kind of want the one that I edited last. That's mine. But you know, sure, show me the you know, Super Metroid wiki thing that I opened up at one point that has like, you know, a bunch of stuff that is interesting once, but I don't necessarily need it need it to be like surfaced every time. Okay, I'm just gonna put here possible revisions. And I'm just gonna note 2 of them, like, first off, 6.2. Add Karibo's shoe. Add shoe. Question mark, question mark, question mark. And, I think 7.5 needs another pass. I don't know if it needs a difficulty pass these days, but definitely there's some, like, technical issues with that current upload that I will address once the thing is all the way done. Let me see. How is the clear rate on 7.5? Probably pretty low. Yeah, that's pretty low. That's like 5%. Okay, that's I'll take it. Some people really have trouble with that boss fight. I'll say you should try it out yourself and you know, let me know. Okay, that was a little aside, a little last aside, you know. Most of those ideas didn't have anything to do with this current level, but you know, thing about making a super world is about more than making one level. It's about having 40 levels that are all like cover a variety of niches, a variety of ideas, and you know, I believe anyway, using as much of the toolkit as you possibly can. Hidden blocks, that's something I haven't found I haven't been able to use yet. I don't see this level as a hidden block level, I'll say. Like, no, I don't think so. I don't know if I can find a good place to, like, naturally do some hidden block stuff. Maybe hidden blocks will just be my white whale. Can you do hidden blocks in, Can you do hidden blocks in... Let me save real fast. Can you do hidden blocks in 3D World? If that, maybe I could fit it into Playtime Palace. Have some hidden block stuff. Maybe even just could be like a bonus thing. Okay, hidden blocks are in 3D World, so... Okay, you know what, for that level... I'm just gonna go into here real fast, Playtime Palace, and just like, I'm just gonna put a bunch of hidden blocks here, so that I don't forget, hey, if hidden blocks haven't been a thing yet, it's time. It's really time. Could do something like where when you hit one, it does a thing. Not sure how that's gonna work out. It's gonna be a weird one because you're gonna have like access. The idea of this level is you're gonna have access to like your choice of any of these 4 power-ups. So how the fuck is that gonna work out? You know? What the fuck? Like Super Belt can activate them from the side. Hammer can destroy them. the boomerang can activate them on the side, but the firefly can't. I don't know. Maybe there's like an automatic way to do it that's cool. Oh, you know what? What if I have an idea. It's not gonna be this, but POW blocks, oh. Really? Oh, right, POW blocks, you have to have a certain color in this one. Right, where's the regular POW block? I'm sorry, I'm sidetracked, I know. Eh? I was really expecting them to actually, like, appear. Really? They don't appear? I was really expecting them to appear right there. And I was about to say, like, I don't think I've used, like, the red, I don't think I've used the red, POW block in this Super World either, so that would also cover, a base that hasn't been covered, but, I guess those things don't get destroyed by red POW blocks, nor do they get activated. What about blue? Nope. Well, fuck. Well, that was an idea. Not every idea pans out, I guess. I'll look into that. I'm just gonna leave that as a note for myself. Figure out invisible blocks. Figure out how to use them. In this level, in either there or in the dark level. Maybe the dark level can have invisible blocks in the overworld, which is gonna be like outside and therefore not in darkness. And that'll be kind of adjacent to dark stuff. Okay, for real, that's enough talking about other levels and, you know, such. A little bit of a tangent there. Wind. Can we do anything with wind? I think that's off the table. I don't see. Well, let's not count our chickens. Like, you know, we did see in one of the other levels in this in DKC2 that it's okay to just like stick an enemy really late in for the first time and have just like, you know, a couple of instances of them, you know, and a missile fucker would be kind of a cool one for that, I think. Maybe. Question mark? Is there... The problem is they don't have time necessarily to get a shot off. I can make a wall of icicles. That would buy them some time to, like, fire a first rally. That's weird. Nah. That's not gonna be it. Okay, one more thing and then we'll do like a last thing. I'm just gonna tie the level together a little bit so it can all be played in one false swoop. And let's have that last thing be a tornado guy. Now, what exactly can a tornado guy be doing in this business? Let's see now. Where is Tornado Guy? Find him. Here we are. Here's a twister. Here's another twister. Let's see now. Put them in conjunction with some pokies, I guess. This is gonna be awkward. Pokey Twister combo. I don't know about it. It could be something where, like, a Pokey is lifting... A Twister is lifting a Pokey into the air. Something like, construction like this. but they're not really gonna have time to get that Pokey airborne in the time that it takes to like do it without some very careful like design, which, you know, I think we can do some very careful design. Okay, that's actually faster than I expected. Lower by 1 and move it to the side. That'll slow it down by a scotch. You know, like a very small amount. Yikes! Move that up 1 and this is gonna be an awkward jump, I think. Like, that looks like it's almost just barely not feasible. Good, okay. Those guys will always get killed. That's kind of cool, and if this level, like, moves fast enough, you know, there'll be almost no way where you get, like, fucked up by that, you know? Oh, and I suppose we should also try it with, like, the Tanuki, you know? Yeah, we should try this with Tanuki. I suppose I have no idea yet, like, how power-ups are gonna be delivered. The last two levels have delivered them in, like, untraditional ways, which is cool, but I don't know if that's gonna be, like, you know, thing every time. How about some regular-ass clouds? How about that? Oh, and also could just be clouds like this style. This does seem awkward to make that jump, I'll say. To make a short jump to do the thing, but if it's too low, then, you know, it's weird in other ways. I think this is a great starting point. Let's, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do one last full run through right here, and let me make sure that this is possible to do all in one run pretty much. Yeah, it's all pretty much together. I'll just put that there, and I'll leave in the original Pokey Pressure idea. Last run, let's go. I do still really like those Mecha Koopas, but I just don't think it quite has a place. Oh shit, I forgot to put in, like, a transition between here and here. Would be good. It doesn't have to always be icicles that you run across or run under. We could do some regular-ass skull lifts. I don't think I've actually used an actual regular-ass skull lift going in the direction that you were actually going in the Super World. There were some that were going in the other direction, but that's different. Okay. Seriously now, last run. I suspect that we won't be using it. I'm fine with not having any, like... I'm fine with the skull lift uses that's already in the Super World. I'm content. Maybe I should have added some extra... Yeah, the timing is weird. Extra power-ups. Fuck. Okay, we'll continue from here. What? But that was unexpected. We'll continue from here, and we won't do that thing that we just did. I bet a lot of people would do that, though. Now let's add, like, a coin trail here. Just to, like, clue the player in what the right time is to jump. That'll help. Okay. Yips. Yikes. Okay. Continuing from here. There's a lot of things I will say that makes it very clear that, like, this is not gonna be it, you know, but like, the basics are pretty cool. You know, I'm using items in ways that I haven't before, and that to me is a sign we're on the right track, you know? And I'll say, like, this level has a personality. I don't know if it's Pokey Pressure or you're gonna be named after the chomps or the icicles that you're running along. I kind of like Pokey Pressure as a name, so I would really like it if there were, like, tons of Pokies being nuisances. But, you know, I will say, it's not necessary for like a enemy to be in the entire level for a level to be named after them. You know, think Clobber Carnage. Clobbers aren't even in that huge, like, section where you're, like, rotating over a pit for, like, the last half of the level. Like, Clobbers play a very minor role from that point on. Crockhead Clamber, that's another level where the Crockheads only appear in the second half. You know, it would be very possible even to just be like, okay, here's the Pokies, they're in the back half, and it wouldn't be, like, so unusual. With that, that's gonna do it for tonight. Hope y'all enjoyed a little bit of making and a whole lot of delving into lost worlds of 4 different games and sort of having thoughts about them. Of the games, I'll say that I feel like I had the least to say about World, just because it's kind of a weird mess, but DKC2, DKC3, they're both perfect. You know, I like them a lot. Well, this World in 3 is weird in that it has, like, 2 auto-scrolly levels, in addition to some very clever and original stuff as well, but, you know, 2 is the fucking gold standard, I think, as far as levels go. And Tropical Freeze was interesting insofar as it's the modern way to do it. More of a gauntlet, which, with, like, no checkpoints or anything, which, that's not going to be how I do it. No. I like to do it the normal style, you know? I'm going to pull up the old schedule. This next Thursday will be viewer levels. That'll be a viewer level stream rather than a variety stream. That'll be the Super Mario viewer level stream that's usually on Friday. I'm gonna be out of town Friday, so you know, expect me to tell you about my plans on that on Thursday. Not that I haven't already told y'all a bunch on that previous streams. Next week, I'm gonna be out of town on Monday, so, you know, no Monday stream. Instead, Twilight Princess is going to be on Thursday, and then there's just going to be the Friday stream after that, and I think that's it. We'll see if on, like, next week I feel like doing a Saturday stream or something. You know, I am still between gigs, so I have all the time in the world to do, like, extra stuff. But I'm thinking just Thursday, Friday next week will be good. Will be fun. This went a lot longer than normal, I'll say. Let me see who's online and who I can raid, and raid someone. I'm seeing some folks online. One that I haven't raided in a bit, or that I'm, you know, not as close to, I guess. Someone ending a stream. Let's see now. How about Trihex? Trihex is cool. That sounds fun. That sounds fine. I'm gonna go with Trihex. He's a big, giant streamer. We're not really gonna add that much to his number, you know, or much anything at all, question mark. But, you know, that's fine. Occasionally, I will raid people who don't know me. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. Someone in my whispers is offering to, you know, do the thing where I pay them to get promotion. Nah, not gonna do that. Anyway, I'll be back on Thursday with viewer levels. Again, special schedule. Thursday viewer levels this week. And then next week after that will be a Thursday, Friday week where the Monday stream has moved to Thursday. And after that should be business as usual for, as far as I know. For like, a while. Though, there will be an anniversary stream in around a month from now, a streamiversary stream. An Extra Life will be probably like sometime in November as well. We'll see. There'll be some streams coming up, folks. Anyway, that ought to do it. I will see y'all on Thursday. Again, special time. Please take notes. I will see you then. I think we made some great progress today, and also, it was interesting looking at all the lost worlds. Bye, folks. Oh, let me get ready to actually send y'all out and end the stream. Okay, I'm ready.